Hey guys, since you're tuning in today, we are making some Beyond tacos, or the plant-based, ground beef replacement tacos. We did the other day for a class. It turned out really well. First, we're going to start chopping up some onion for our black bean salsa. This thing's a monster, so we're not going to use all of it. I'm just going to use probably a quarter of it. So I'm just going to cut this guy in half, and then I will cut this in half again, and then we'll peel it, and you can see there's lines that go through it. We're going to cut with those lines. So I'm just cutting straight down, and we're going to cut the end off so that way I don't get a little bit of the fur from the tip of the onion. Now I'm just going to start dicing up my onion. And this is going to be for our black bean salsa, and I'm going to throw a little bit in my taco meat as well, just for a little bit of flavor. So I got my pan already going. I add a little bit of onion in there. Take this, put that in old file 13. Take my onion here. I'm going to add this to, I have a can of black beans that I already rinsed and drained. That will be for our black bean salsa. I'm going to go ahead and make our taco seasoning, so that way we can get that ready for our tacos here in a second. I'm just going to let our onion cook for a little bit before I add my taco meat, so I'll give us plenty of time to make our taco seasoning. I got 2 tablespoons of chili powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon garlic, 1 teaspoon onion, and then 2 teaspoons of paprika. And if you like it spicier, you can add a little more cayenne pepper to it, or depending on how spicy your chili powder is, it could be spicier as well. And sometimes if you use a smoked paprika versus a normal paprika, there can be a little bit of heat in that as well. So we won't need all this taco seasoning, so we'll have it for another time, so you can, add it to regular tacos, make another batch of this. I've sprinkled it on top of chickpeas before and roasted them that way. I've done the same thing with potatoes. So our onion is starting to get kind of softened, so I'm just going to add my Beyond burger. And it looks just like, we're pretty close to ground beef. And we can treat it just the same. I'm just going to take my 1 spoon here and just break it up. When I made this the other day for our actual class we had it in, I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. And it didn't really take that long to do. And unlike regular hamburger where you have a bunch of grease you gotta drain off, we didn't have it with this. We just cooked it, seasoned it up, and it was ready to go. So our burgers, in, I'm going to take maybe about half of my seasoning here, just because I like a little bit extra spice in mine, and a little bit of flavor. I'm just going to kind of mix that up. Just keep breaking up my burger. That whiff of chili just got me, so that was great. That's always a fun breath to take. So just kind of breaking this up, and this one needs to cook about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how done you want it to get. And again, you just gotta break up with your spoon, so it's kind of just like ground beef. If you keep breaking it up, you'll have smaller pieces of taco meat versus a bigger clump of taco meat. So that's all kind of personal preference. taco seasoning smells great. You should really try making your taco seasoning just once, just to kind of taste the variation. And I'm not saying the packaged stuff is bad. I use it at home too, but every once in a while, try making it yourself just to see the difference. So I'm gonna let that cook just a little bit longer, and I'm gonna finish making up our black bean salsa. So I got my beans and my onions there. I got a tomato here. I was going to cut this thing in half, and if your knife isn't sharp enough to cut it, so you're trying to cut and it's not cutting, you can take the tip of your knife and kind of poke it in, or you can take the butt if there's a point there. Sometimes this is rounded, so that doesn't always work. You can kind of use that as a starter guide. So take the tip, get it as a starter, and then you can cut from there. And we're just going to cut some chunks or some slices out of our tomato half here. And someone's probably going, Marty, you haven't cored the tomato yet. Don't worry, I'll do that here in a second when I go to slice it. So I'm going to take a couple slices, cut those again, and then dice it up. And here's where I'll take out the core. So instead of trying to dig with my knife, I'll just take out a couple pieces that are the core right at the top, and it saves time, and you lose less of the tomatoes. So just going to add my diced tomatoes to the bowl here. Cut that one. So we're just going to finish chopping up our tomato. Take these, cut, kind of basically taking the slice and cutting like a tomato french fry out of it, or french fry size, and then cutting those into cubes. Take the core out, take the rest and add to the bowl here. Like french fry, do a little dice. I'm just going to stir up my taco meat again. This already smells fantastic. And basically whenever I get done chopping my salsa and I have a little bit of sriracha sour cream I'm going to make, these will be ready to go. So we're moving right along. I got another half a tomato to cut here. So I'm just going to cut my slices out of my tomato. Again, if you can't slice it with your knife because it's not sharp enough, use the tip of your knife to kind of start your slice, cut from there. A serrated knife works really well for this as well. So get a bread knife or a steak knife out, and that will work great for cutting a tomato. I'm just going to dice this up. Take out the bottom core, take out the top core. Add that to our bowl. Cut these last couple pieces here. And the fun thing about making your own salsa is you can add or subtract anything you like. If you want a little corn in here, you can do corn, rather be fresh, canned. If you use frozen, I recommend thawing it out. Definitely, maybe roasting it a little bit to get a little flavor on it. And then we've got a little bit of cilantro. So just going to kind of take a pinch off the bunch here and give that a little chop. Definitely like little fresh herbs in here. And if you don't like cilantro, don't put it in there. And if you just want a little bit of greenery in it for some color, just chop up a little bit of parsley, throw it in there. And no one's going to really be like, this cilantro tastes funny. Those kind of go with it. So we got our beans, our onions, our tomatoes, our cilantro. I'm going to add 1 can of the diced green chilies. I love using these for salsa and stuff because you get great flavor from them. You get a little bit of heat, but not too crazy. You don't have to chop them up. It's already done. They're roasted. Everything's ready to go. Got about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or lime juice, and about half a teaspoon of cumin. I'm just going to mix this all up, and this will be ready for our tacos. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to it. Check it out right here. A little pepper, a little salt. Now our sauce will be ready to go. Our taco meat is looking great. If you look at that pan, would you be able to tell that's not ground beef? That looks just like ground beef to me. I'm going to put this off to the side for a second. Then I'm going to start toasting up tortilla real quick while I make my sriracha sour cream. So I got about a 4th cup of sour cream here, about a teaspoon or 2 of lemon or lime juice, and about a tablespoon or 2 of sriracha. I like spice, so I added probably just a little too much sriracha to it, but it's all right. They're for me, so I'll deal with it. I like sriracha. I like spice. All we gotta do is just mix this together, and the sour cream will kind of dilute a little bit of that spice. The lime juice will give a nice little tang, and the sriracha gives a nice little pink color. So there we have our sriracha sour cream. We got a nice toasted taco shell here at the top. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our taco meat here. And yeah, you can easily put any kind of toppings you want. It's your traditional, just lettuce, cheese, sour cream, taco sauce. You can do a pico de gallo, you can do salsa, whatever you prefer. Take a little bit of my black bean salsa here, a little bit of sriracha sour cream, and now we have a nice, yummy taco that's going to be beyond good. I'm going to finish making up some more of these so that way I can have them for dinner. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.